Saturday is a movie about two guys in the block who have nothing to do all day, despite being grown men in an age before the internet. A lot of people have a real hard-on for this movie because it speaks to their uselessness. Personally, I also find this movie to be somewhat humorous, but unfortunately, many of the best elements are not carried over in the sequels. But that doesn't matter, because we won't be going over those bum-ass movies in this video, and we'll just be sticking to the classic original. The movie was created by that guy from Men in the Cut. I think he rapped about how he didn't like the police or something, but anyway, he decided that he wanted to be a director too. So now we're gonna go over the movie. It starts out with a drug addict in the West Coast, trying to start off his day right with some gas. Then it cuts to Doughboy being greeted by some fake ass missionaries. Like, these guys come knocking at a nigga's door early in the morning, then have the nerve to get in their feelings, cause niggas are trying to hear all that. So Doughboy tries to get his sister to set him up with some legs, but she refuses because he's not worth it. Then he gets bullied by his father because he's a grown man, yet is still a bum living at home. Obviously, Doughboy isn't trying to hear all this, but he has no choice, so we as an audience also have no choice but to send our condolences to him. His father makes him take out the trash, and some punk ass fetus tries stepping to him, but then does the dash like the pussy he is. Unlike the rest of his family, Doughboy's mother talks to him with some respect and tries to help him see the value in his life, but it doesn't matter cause he's still living like this. Also, it turns out that Doughboy is such a weirdo that he managed to get fired on the day he had off, so at this point, it's very difficult to respect him. Then some lead show tries to get something from him, but he isn't going, so that's dead for her. So respect's gained, I guess. But then it's lost again, because his wife is some lame ass hoe that's trying to stop problems for no real reason, because she is a problem. So his father tells him to go outside and find some new employment, and his mother refuses to feed him. While Doughboy is getting his coats, the addict from the beginning of the movie pops through the window uninvited, so Doughboy ups a pull on him. But it turns out they're allies, so they go meet outside. But before that can happen, some nigga pulls up on the addict and asks for money, cause it turns out he's a don, and the addict is one of his foot soldiers. The addict asks Doughboy how he lost his job, on what should be a day that's impossible for him to lose his job, and it turns out it's because he tried to finesse, and his dumbass got caught on camera. After some woman that they know would never give them play walk past them, they decide to get into some business. The addict tells Doughboy about how their friend tries to confront the hero from the Avengers movie for his bike, but he was confused as to who he was talking to, so Thanos put him on a stretcher. Then the niggas decide to go to the addict's house, and some guy gets in his feelings because he doesn't like when people step on the ground around his house. After the hoe in the crib almost delays their progress, they make it to the addict's natural habitat, where he rolls up once again to satisfy his intense need to be off one. Then they drive to the store, but before they can even enter, an actual super addict tries to get the regular addict to give him some money, but they know what games he'd be playing, so it doesn't work. But the super addict isn't done yet, and starts harassing the shop owner until he makes him piss off. After the main character gets back from the store, they see an attractive older woman that gets them hard, but also Doughboy's mom tells her that she's going to her job, while also revealing her fakeness in the process. After Doughboy gets a radio from his crib, the two go back to the porch, where they continue to do absolutely nothing of importance, while the addict rolls up yet again. Like, at this point, it's becoming concerning. Then some church guy pulls up trying to tell the addict to put his grass away, and while he probably should chill out, I don't know where this nigga gets off telling niggas what they should do in the privacy of their own crib. But after he gets lost, some Mexicans pull up on the main characters, and it turns out the addict doesn't like them, cause one time they got him on PCP and had him tweaking for a whole night. Then that punk ass fetus from earlier shows his face again, so the niggas try to get on his ass, but sadly, they weren't fast enough to grab him. After this, they notice that Thanos is rolling around the corner, so they're forced to hide anything that may be valuable, so they don't get finessed. When he pulls up, he immediately tries to do them dirty and get some funds off them. But after that neighbor that was in his feelings pisses off, he decides to finesse his crib while he isn't around. To do this mission, he enslaves the addict and makes Doughboy the lookout in case the neighbor comes back. But while this is happening, it turned out the church nigga from earlier was sleeping with the older woman and her husband caught her, so he gets on his ass. But then the neighbor comes back, so Thanos and the addicts have to hurry up and fuck off before he sees them. When he gets back, they continue to disrespect him, and the addict has nothing to show for it because Thanos took everything for himself. After the addict tries again to get Doughboy to go off one, he finally agrees to it and becomes even more useless than he was before. Then the lead show from earlier comes back, trying to get away from the addict, and like before, they get rid of her because she provides no value to society. Then Doughboy starts tweaking off the pack and seeing and hearing things he's not supposed to. So they go to the crib in order to eat, but Doughboy sees the Don from earlier in his cabinet, and also they're missing something, so this was yet another waste of time. So a woman Doughboy has a hard on for walks in his crib, and they're chilling, and she notices that he's off one, but she doesn't seem to care, so I guess she's a real one. Also, she tells a story about how she had to stop Thanos from giving the beats to the leech, but Doughboy starts tweaking heavy, so he has to retreat to the bathroom, while the addict tries to get the woman to hook up with his friend because he's a real nigga, but she leaves, and then Doughboy's father comes back and makes them take their nonsense outside. When they go out, they see the Don riding around in an ice cream truck, which attracts a lot of fetuses, but that doesn't matter to him, and he tells the addict to get his ass over there so he can get paid. When the addict comes up short, the Don tells him that if he doesn't get his full amount by the deadline, then he's gonna put the main characters on shirts. When the addict tells Doughboy of the situation they're in, the man is understandably upset. Then the woman who visited earlier comes back to their crib because she forgot something, but of course Doughboy's lame-ass wife has to pull up at the exact same time. Also, the addict tries to go back to his crib to use the toilets, but he's barred from entry, and Doughboy's father refuses to let him enter, so he's forced to take a dump on his own lawn. Then the super addict shows up to see the regular addicts like this, and the regular addict tells him to keep his mouth shut, but of course that's too much for him to do, and he starts running his mouth. So after Doughboy sorts out the situation with his wife, she's feeling whatever, but then she gets in her feelings again, so it's whatever. The main characters reunite, and Doughboy still feels some type of way, because now his life is in danger due to the addict's nonsense. Then Doughboy goes to his crib and gets his strap, but his father sees him with it and gets in his feelings, because back in his day, niggas used to fight with their hands. But what these old heads need to understand is having a strap in this environment is not optional, because the Don that's on their ass is willing to put him on the news if he steps out of line. So when Doughboy gets back outside, then the guy that Thanos did dirty pulls up on them and tells Doughboy about how he was being disrespected at work. Then he shows them how he looks after being assaulted, and they react in disgust, showing how little they respect him. They see the Mexicans, and Doughboy tells the addict to go make a sale because they need all the funds they can get at this point. They see Thanos rolling up, and they're forced to hide everything of value once again. Then Thanos steps up to them and hosts the guy he did earlier again and takes his chain. After that, he runs like Woody to his whip, so that's an L of maximum proportions. Sometime after that, the addict meets up with some woman that he thought would be a match, but it turns out she has a low property value, so he gets in his feelings and tells her to piss off. When the woman from earlier shows up again, the addict gets on her ass because she was the one who set him up with the female, so he feels some type of way about her doing him like that. Then the addict breaks into Thanos' crib. In order to finesse the money they finessed from the neighbor earlier that day, but the mission was jeopardized because that lame-ass super addict had to pull up and ruin everything as usual. When the addict gets back, he tells Doughboy about what happened, but it's too late to go on another mission because now Thanos is wide awake. While they're contemplating their L, the punk-ass fetus from earlier pulls up talking heavy yet again, and they get on his ass, and happily, they were able to give him the beats this time, because that's what his pussy ass gets for talking crazy to grown men. When they get back to the crib, the addict gets a call from the Don asking for the status on his funds, and the addict gives a disappointing answer, which makes him hang up. Then Doughboy's father pulls up and tells the addict to piss off, but they both end up leaving, so whatever. When they get outside, they see a van skirt, and they know they may be put in the dirt, so they do the dash, and then the ops start busting at them. The addict tries firing shells back, but it doesn't do much, so he has to piss off. The niggas end up hiding in the back of a truck, and the rest of the hood pops out to see what the noise is about, but the woman from earlier grabs the leech from their crib, because it turns out Thanos has been hitting her, so she steps to him, but he doesn't care that she bleeds once a month, and treats her how he would any other nigga. Then Doughboy sees him and questions Thanos, but he tells him that if he doesn't chill out, then he's next. At first it looks like things might settle down or something, but it seems like Thanos wants those issues and starts trying to push Doughboy around, so he ups a pull on him, and his father tells him to put it down, but Thanos is still talking too much, so Doughboy has to air it out. But I guess not, because he just puts it down and they start throwing hands. Since Thanos is a titan, he starts doing Doughboy dirty, and everyone in the neighborhood tells him to get up, and this is the problem with this society. Like, are you seriously telling me that none of these grown-ass white chromosomes had the balls to rush this man? Like, what's going on? But eventually, Doughboy gets up and throws an object at Thanos, then beats him over, and it looks like the day is saved. The addict finesses him, and the guy he did dirty earlier gets his bike and chain back, and also hits him. Then the super addict finesses him too, so the next day, Doughboy divorces his wife, and the addict gets a call from the Don. At first he tries to play like he's tough, but then the Don shows him what time it is, and the addict lets him know that he has his money, and that he will be giving up the green and go to rehab, so it looks like there's actually going to be some sort of positive developments in his life for a change. But not really, because it turns out he was just capping, and will continue to be an unproductive drain on resources. Overall, this movie was some heat. I don't think I was actually off one while watching it, but it doesn't matter, because it's actually funny. The same cannot be said for Doughboy's future appearances though, which leads me to think that the main reason this movie was good has something to do with the addict and the co-worker, because he helped write the movie, yet both are MIA for the sequels. Let me know what other movies you want me to go over, and remember that if a bum is owing you funds, then sometimes it's necessary to use force, otherwise they may continue to act out of line. Okay guys, make sure that when you subscribe you hit the notification button, because that lets you know whenever I make a new video, and as always, thanks for watching.